So, is Cape Town worth going to? Short answer, yes. It's awesome. But I appreciate you might want a little bit more information than that. So I'm going to go through logistical things like getting around and internet and safety to things to do and things that surprised me. I mean, hopefully it's useful for anybody that's going to go on holiday to Cape Town or wants to spend some time there. Again, I only spent 2 or 3 weeks there, so it might not be the most accurate information, but I hope it helps. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way first. Getting around, we actually hired a car. I hired a pickup truck, which was no frills, no central locking, no electric windows, but perfect for what I wanted. Yeah, listen to it purr. I love this thing. And it only cost £20 a day. I picked it up in Cape Town Centre and dropped it off at the airport before I flew. So I don't know much about public transport. They do have Uber and it's readily available and cheap, so getting around the city itself is really easy if you don't have a car. In terms of internet, it wasn't the fastest, wasn't the slowest. One thing that I didn't know is that they have something called load shedding, which is essentially the grid can't take the demand, I think. I think it's been going on for a number of years, but they shut off the electricity for portions of the city and South Africa in general, seemingly at any point they want. There's an app called Exxon Say Push, which lets you see when each zone is being shut off, but it happens in working hours on weekdays, which I don't understand how the country operates like that. So if you do have work to do, there are sort of co-working spaces like at the V&A that have their own generators, so they have electricity and you can do that, but it is something that really surprised me and was a little bit frustrating. In terms of safety, South Africa is going to be a higher concern, and the caveat is that we spent 2 or 3 weeks mainly in Camps Bay, which is a higher end area of Cape Town. So whilst there's electric fences and barbed wire and armed guards, I didn't necessarily feel that unsafe. I think you just need to take normal precautions, especially at night. And we went to a beach called Noordhoek, and one of the local guys said that, you know, it's not the safest beach around, but the people that get into trouble are the ones that take fancy camera equipment and make it obvious that they've got an expensive camera. So normal stuff. It's obviously a larger concern in South Africa than in other places. In terms of cost, the rand is reasonably weak as a currency, so if you're traveling from Europe or the US, your money actually goes a long way, which makes going to South Africa really affordable actually. The food was amazing. It was so good. You could get fat in South Africa real quick, and I did. The quality of the food everywhere is unlike anywhere I've ever experienced. And whilst it's not as cheap as Southeast Asia, I think for your money, it's the best food I've ever had. So we ate at a place called Hussar a number of times, and for South Africans, that might just be a bog standard steakhouse because it's a chain, but you could get a 500 gram T-bone steak for, I think it's like £11. And you can go to trendier places in Cape Town like Potluck Club, which a friend said was the best food she'd ever had. So it really depends, but as like a general note, the food is incredible. It's so good. One thing that did surprise me, and I think I assumed that because it's the Southern Oceans, the water would be dark and angry, but actually, except for the fact that it's freezing cold, the sea is generally sort of crystal clear. It's amazing, and there's white sand beaches. If you go to Llandudno Bay, which is like 20 minutes south of Camps Bay, you would be forgiven for thinking that it was Mexico or the Caribbean. It's incredible. and I loved it. I mean, the other thing, including safety, is that South Africa's fairly sharky. I tried not to let it play on my mind that much when I'm surfing, but you know, in Noordhoek, again, we were surfing with a dead seal in the water, which was slightly off-putting. I think you just need to get over it and accept that the odds are higher in South Africa, but low in general. And then the other thing that surprised me was how mountainous and scenic it was. I knew that Cape Town was a scenic city, but driving almost anywhere, the views were just awesome. So even driving to a.k.a. private game reserve past sort of Stellenbosch, I didn't realise how mountainous it was. And there's some like really good mountain passes. And then in Cape Town, or just south of Cape Town, Camps Bay Drive then turns into Chapman's Peak Drive, and I've got to say it's probably the best road I've ever driven on. It's really popular for sunsets because there's a load of lay-bys. I've actually got some drone footage which I'll show you. Chapman's Peak Drive, incredibly beautiful. That's the car you want. This guy better torch it off the line. Oh. Disappointing. I mean, I didn't do the garden routes, but I imagine the drives there are just as good. So that was something that did take me by surprise and was a pleasant surprise. Really, really good. In terms of things to do, there's loads of stuff to do, loads of day trips to do around Cape Town. I won't go into huge detail because you can watch the individual videos on each place, but obviously Table Mountain and Lion's Head is a must. I wouldn't do the routes that we did. I think you can go to Botanical Gardens, which is a really nice place to spend an afternoon. People just playing cricket and having a picnic. That's a pretty good setting for a Monday lunchtime jaunt. Wow. The route up Table Mountain via Skeleton Gorge might be a lot better. I don't know, I haven't done it. If you have, let me know. But I think it looks more shaded and has a bit more variety. And then I wouldn't walk down. Walking down is not fun. I would just get the cable car down. And then Lion's Head, it's relatively short, so just if you see good weather in the morning, go. It's as simple as that. And the views are great. I'm incredibly jealous that Cape Town has that just on their doorstep. You can then do loads of day trips. So one of the more popular ones would be going down to the Cape of Good Hope, which is, you know, I was thinking it must be one of the most symbolic pieces of land in the world. And it's a really nice sort of scenic area. I enjoyed it. I forgot to take all my camera equipment. I left it there, so I was only using my phone. And then you can come up the eastern part of the Cape and go to Simonstown and chill out with African penguins, which is very relaxing. Farah did a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, which she really enjoyed. You can go to Bo Kaap, which is like got really colourful buildings, and take some nice pictures. There are helicopter tours. The shorter ones didn't seem worth it. It was like 12 minutes for £80, but the ones that go down to the beaches and then round Table Mountain look really good. I couldn't get a seat. There is one that has like a Vietnam era Huey that you can go with the door open. We saw one fly by when we were in Noordhoek and it looked really fun. It is expensive though. I think it's like £250 for 40 minutes. So if you have the money, go for it. But for most people, that's going to be pretty expensive. not quite day trips, but weekend trips to Franschooek or Stellenbosch for wine tasting. If wine's your thing, then I guess that's a must do as well. And then if you don't have time to go to any of the larger national parks, you can go to a.k.a, which is 2.5 hours away, especially if you haven't done safari. It's worth it. It's not that expensive, and it's a nice weekend getaway. So yeah, I really enjoyed the 2 weeks there. I need to go back. I need to do the garden route and explore. I need to go and surf Jeffreys Bay. I need to explore South Africa in general. I really liked it. I couldn't recommend it more. So if you're only going for 2 weeks or a week and a half, then there's more than enough stuff to do and eat in Cape Town. I will be going back as soon as possible for a few months. That's how much I enjoyed it. Bye bye.